So I just finished Final Fantasy VII Remake Integrate, and I have to say, who the heck is Vice and Nero?
Fuck you!
Welcome back, Classic Crew, to another journal in my quest to complete Final Fantasy VII Remake and 100% the game with all achievements. Now, I called myself a Final Fantasy VII fan for a while, and it's dawned on me that I was just a casual pleb, or whatever the kids call it these days, because I knew very little about this IP. I enjoyed the PlayStation 1 game. I played it once or twice. I enjoyed Advent Children, although I was super confused in that movie. And I've missed out on everything else. I couldn't play Crisis Core because I didn't have a PSP. That's going to be rectified soon as the remake comes out on PC in a couple months. I never played any of the other spin-offs. I never played Dirge of Cerberus. And I've heard from my chat that is the critical piece that I'm missing from understanding what the heck just happened in this DLC. Because apparently, Vice and Nero, who are these dudes who hang out in the basement called Deep Ground of Shinra HQ, are apparently relevant to Dirge of Cerberus, which features Vincent and Yuffie. Now, I know nothing about that. I've also heard that game sucks, so I don't know what's going on there. But this entire DLC has left me going more often, what than anything else. I have to say, the gameplay, fantastic. I finally learned how to play as Yuffie properly. I complained in my last journal that the game was hard. It's hard because I didn't know what I was doing. The boss of this game was actually kind of easy because I knew how to do it. I finally figured out the key to playing Yuffie is understanding if you hit Y, your top button, you can jab the shuriken into whatever person you want, and then you can spam ninjutsus on it. Once I knew that I could do that, and once I knew how to control my range, basically Yuffie is a range player. You do not want to be using her as melee because that's where she gets hit and she's pretty squishy. So you got to stay back, you use your spells, you use your ninjutsu, or you teleport, get a few hits in, and then you get back. That's how you play as Yuffie. At least that's what I learned. So the gameplay is good. It's the story that really kind of got me just going, what is happening? I was all on board for Yuffie's coming to Midgar. I'm like, yes, let's do it. Yuffie's a fun character. Let's see what's all about. And I kind of already had a sense that the story was going to go in a weird place. Just in my last journal, I'm like, why are we here again? Why are we in Shinra? We're getting ultimate materia. Okay, that seems kind of like light. And even now that I finished it, we never got anything. If anything, we just lost. Spoilers. We lost our husbando. Poor Sonan dies in the stupidest way possible. And it was so upsetting. And then we're still reeling off his loss. And then the plate falls and Yuffie loses it. Like, wow, what an emotional way to finish off that DLC. But it still left me going more with what is going on, but I think what they're doing is they're setting up a lot more backstory to Yuffie. Like, I didn't know much about Yuffie's backstory. It sounds like there's going to be something happening with this Deep Ground that's going to become more relevant in the sequels. Well, the next installments of Final Fantasy VII Remake. So really looking forward to seeing what those are going to be called. The other ones are not called Remake. They're going to be called Rebirth and Reunion, probably. We also got a glimpse of our main party, which is heading out to Calm, and I'm just so excited to see what it's going to be like playing this game in a setting other than Midgar. I love Midgar. That's what I wanted, and everything else is just bonus at this point. So what is Rebirth going to offer in terms of like all the scenery that the main crew visits? It's a lot brighter. It's a lot and then we got a glimpse of Zack, which this is another one that I know so little about because I didn't play Crisis Core. So Zack is looking at the very end of the credits. He's looking for Aerith at the church. And I was confused because the timelines have changed. But what I was confused for some reason, I thought Zack was from the past, but I figured if he was still alive, it was something from the past. I realize now, had Zack not been killed, he would actually be exactly where he is now in the game. He's the same age as like all these characters. It's not like he's ancient, like a prequel of a decade ago. It actually makes sense that he's here. And so I finally understood that. And now the fact that he's looking for Aerith, I'm like, oh, how is this going to cross with everything? Because we all know what happens to Aerith, but we also know about Cloud and Aerith. And we also know, I do know that Aerith and Zack were chummy chums, like they got a thing going. So how is that going to complicate things with Cloud and Aerith? And if that doesn't complicate it, does that just mean it's going to push Cloud towards Tifa more? Like, I'm so down for the setup they're doing, and it looks like they're going wide and taking every aspect of the Final Fantasy VII franchise, even this whole Deep Ground thing, which I know nothing about. I don't know anything about Visor Nero. I don't know their backstory. I don't know what they do. I don't know anything about them. I kind of wish I did because they look important. They also give me some Kingdom Hearts vibes, which I don't know how I feel about that. And then Scarlet is the only really other thing to talk about from this whole thing, which I thought they were building her up to be the main villain of this DLC, which would have been perfect because she didn't get a lot of screen time in the main game. And the final fight was really satisfying with her. You know, she's in this like big mech and she keeps changing out the weapons. And also at this point, I had figured out how to use Yuffie properly. So killing Scarlet was super easy as well. It's just throw your shuriken at Scarlet, embed it, cast fire ninjutsu on her, but then have lightning materia on your weapon. So when you're attacking the suit and you've got the lightning spell, you're like taking advantage of that thing being weak to lightning, but Scarlet is weak to fire. So you do the fire ninjutsu in there. It's just like, it just all comes together so easily. So it's a lot easier. So that's where I'm at. Now what's ahead of me in terms of my pledge, I've got a bunch of random achievements to finish. The biggest one though is completing everything on hard mode. I've gone back to Final Fantasy, like the core game. I've started grinding through everything and doing hard mode. I have to say it's not as bad as I thought. It is pushing me to be a lot better of a player, and it is way more of a rewarding experience. I have 3 chapters done on hard mode in the main game, but it's only going to get worse as I get further into the game later on, as just the stakes keep rising and everything gets harder. So the next journal, I will keep you updated on how the hard mode grind is going, as well as if I can knock out some of these mini games and secondary challenges. I don't know if it's going to be a journal next week or a couple weeks from now. Either way, I will see you in the next journal, or maybe if you click one of these, I'll see you there, or on stream at twitch.tv/HeyJOfficial. Either way, wherever I see you, until next time, keep it classy.